up, just 4 points separating the two teams going into this clash. And our boys in Barcelona are all over it ahead of the game. This is how the odds are looking for Barca against Real Madrid going into the clash between these two sides. Barcelona obviously winning the 3 previous Clásicos this season. Real Madrid in a must-win encounter here. And we've got Dan, Luis and Craig with us for all of the action and all of the talk ahead of the big game. So I'm going to send it over to you, Dan, with all the news, all the latest news.
I'll just send it to you, Dan. You can do all the work. Thank you very much, Kay. Craig and Luis alongside me. Before we look ahead properly to what's happening this weekend, Luis, it's the first time we've had you on since that defeat against Inter. Just your reaction overall, having a couple of days to dwell on it. Like, how much from Barcelona's perspective is it disappointment, not getting across the line, not being professional enough, or kind of a pride that, you know, they kept going when they were 2-0 down, as Craig mentioned, in both legs?
I think a little bit of everything, to be honest, because it's true that when you're watching the game and you see that you are losing 2-0 and you feel that you can make it because you've done it before, that comeback, managed to get back, to go ahead on the score, and just a few minutes after you are out of the competition, out of the Champions League final after 10 years. I think that the frustration to the players, to the supporters, to the club has been, I think, massive. Can they change the mentality to the game for Sunday? I think that they can, but definitely it was a big blow for them that not being involved, not having the opportunity or not manage the situation. We talked a lot about this one, and I think that Craig will agree with me that at some point we mentioned, listen, this Barcelona is lack of experience. Yeah. In this kind of moment, they understand that you cannot play all the time that highlight, you cannot play all the time intensity, because at some points you're playing against one of the best teams, and you've seen it, how they have played. So you need to address that, and it's been many times that you feel it. But I still think that Barcelona did a fantastic job. Not enough to go to the final. As
a player, Craig, how do you turn the page on it? How do you use it as a motivation for Sunday? Or do you even need motivation?
You never need motivations for games that are as big as this when the pressure is on. As a player, you have to sort of learn as you go, as you get more experience, which Barcelona don't really have a lot of as a lot of young kids, but you have to learn how to sort of brush these things off. As difficult as it is, you lose a derby game, you lose a big game at international football, you know, you play on a Saturday, you play on a Tuesday, Wednesday with internationals, might be a defeat at the weekend, you got to go again. It's just the same here. You have to go again. There's a league title at stake. I'm just wondering, you know, in terms of how you feel for this, Luis, what's going to be more difficult? Is it the physical aspect that Barcelona went through, picking themselves up for, or the mental aspect? What one is going to be the most difficult for them to take into this game?
I'm more worried about the physical aspect in the second half, to be honest, Craig, because mentally you know that there is a Clásico and you are right there, and you know that winning it or even with the draw it could be enough. So you are ready to fight that mental side. You kind of clean what happened and you focus on that game. But after 60 minutes, the things are not going your way. I'm not sure if this Barcelona is ready to have that intensity during 90 minutes. And against Real Madrid, you know that 10 minutes can put you away of the competition, put you away of the game in this case. So I'm a little bit afraid of that lack of consistency during the 90 minutes. We've seen the Barcelona times at some point where they got the low, they feel that they are not ready. 20 minutes can happen, and it happens against Inter and the Milan, and you can see 2 goals.
I mean, if you heard that tearing, that's by the way, someone's just sorting out our lighting. Craig apparently looks a little old, and he just complained about it.
I quite like doing TV in the dark.
I think most viewers enjoy that.
I don't know what was happening. I was saying the noise.
And here's the other question. Do Barcelona even need to get near their best? Which we certainly saw in the Inter games going forward.
Yeah.
Not defensively, because if you lose 7 goals in 2 games, you're doing things wrong. But that's the way they've played the season. Do they even have to get anywhere near 90-95% of the best to beat this Real Madrid side, particularly in its current guise, with the form they're in, with the pressure they're under, and with the injuries they have? So I'm not even sure we need a full strength 100% Barcelona turning up. I think as long as they play the way we know they can do, particularly going forward, and manage to sort of squeeze Mbappe and Vinicius, who we think will be the front 2 out of the game, I think they're going to be good.
What's interesting, Luis, like if I'm a Real Madrid fan, I'm hanging my hat on that second half performance in the Copa del Rey final. That's what I want to see from the start. And to Craig's point, if we can play like that, if Real Madrid can play like that, then they will push them, surely, all the way.
Yeah, but it's not many times that we've seen that Real Madrid. I was right. Dortmund, we go back to Dortmund. Yes, it's true. And we mention all the time. Do you remember? And I remember that in some of the shows that we did, Craig always go to Dortmund because we remember that game and that intensity and that desire and determination of Real Madrid. But we haven't seen that much. And you play away and you are needed. You need to get that result, and you maybe push yourself and you rush yourself, and that's something that Barcelona can get in the way. But I still think that Barcelona, in the moment that they are right now, they are favorites for the game. But also I can tell you that this Real Madrid, with 2 sparks, they can score you 2 goals and you still haven't started even the game. So that's my worry concern when we are talking about this Barcelona side, that in the past month it looks really, really vulnerable.
What's really interesting in all the build-up to this game from a Real Madrid perspective, Craig, it's not Kylian Mbappe, it's not Vinicius Junior, it's not Bellingham. It's Arda Güler. That is kind of the big talking point, given his performance against Celta Vigo.
Is he going to play? Is he not?
Well, I think he'll definitely play. I think he'll play. There'll be no Rodrigo. But does he make enough difference to this side to give them that edge?
Who else is making the difference? You know, because
that's where we're at.
That is where we're at. And if you watch them against Celta de Vigo, he had a sort of defensively he had a structured role, but offensively when they had the ball, he could pretty much float around, and he did. You know, obviously got on the score sheet, was a creator as well with a great pass through to, I think it was Mbappe in the second half, and he sort of floated around and picked up nice positions, and he's very tidy on the ball. And his chances have been limited, but that's kind of where they are. Ancelotti's looking for somebody to come in and help him out and make a difference. It doesn't matter who it is. He turned to his bench and he's saying, I need some help. And at least he's put his hand up at the Güler and said, look, give me a chance. So he's taken it. This is the bigger step, the bigger opportunity. Yeah. Can he make that difference? Can he be the supply chain for the front guys in a game like this away from home? That's the big question.
If I'm Hansi Flick, I will be more worried about Arda Güler and his free role in the middle of the park than Rodrigo, that I know is going to be there in the right side. He's, of course, the speed. He's very quick and skillful, and he's dangerous, but he hasn't been in great form, to be honest, in the past month and a half. And you got Arda Güler, and he floats around, keeps the ball well, and he's got that timing. Fantastic pass, and you got 2 players up front who can do the job. A couple of runs, a couple of good passes from Arda Güler, and Barcelona is in trouble.
Whose was better?
I go Jan Sommer. I thought, well, without question, it was the difference between the two, between Barcelona going through or not. And just as an individual performance, I thought that was as good as I've seen for quite some time. That does not mean in any way to minimize Donnarumma's performance for PSG as well. And Donnarumma has had a reputation over the years as being capable of the brilliant, but also capable of an error or two. But I thought his performance against Arsenal, is this the save from I think it was Odegaard, top of the box. This was a good reaction save. There's one that Odegaard hit very early on from the top of the box that came through bodies that he got down. This is the one. That is an incredible save when you consider how big Donnarumma is. The fact that he does not, I don't think he even sees Odegaard when he hits it, and the number of bodies that it comes through. I thought as goalkeeping displays, Jan Sommer comes on the Tuesday, and you thought nobody's going to come anywhere close to equaling it. Donnarumma just about did. And again, while I lean Jan Sommer in terms of the better performance, that is not to take anything away from Gigi Donnarumma. Maybe struggled to find his feet or rhythm with Bayern Munich once Manuel Neuer got injured, but then has found a home in Inter. And again, producing the kinds of performances that we saw from Mönchengladbach for the, 8 or 9 years that he was there. And again, I don't think anybody's ever doubted or disputed his quality other than that short spell at Bayern.
Do you agree, Stevie?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much all the goalies did well. I mean, Raya for Arsenal made some incredible saves as well. Yeah. So, you know, these semis were as much about the goalkeeping as the outfield players. But regardless, all of it was fantastic.
You have no idea how happy it makes me to hear you say that, Stephen.
Well, we don't often get the chance.
Exactly, and that's my point.
We're usually talking about a goalie throwing one in, let's be honest.
I'm going to save that little bit and play it over. That's going to be my ringtone on my phone from now. Yeah.